Hi Sonny, this is Al. I want you to look at this tape and see if you can identify some of these riders. It's going to be extremely difficult, I suppose, while they're running, but possibly when you look at the fellows with their helmets off at the end of the tape, you might be able to identify some of the ones that I can't identify. 123, Donnie Vesco used that number for many years. I don't know if that was him there or not, but I don't know any of these guys by number. Number 2 looks like a Norton there. That might have been Bro Smith, but I need your expertise, because you were riding that day and you got a trophy that day, so you ought to be able to tell me who some of these guys were, if not everybody. So looks like a lightweight, possibly a heat race here, I don't know. Like some guy slid out there and dropped his bike. Also, there's a possibility that if you have a very large screen TV and a videotape machine with a pause function, you might possibly be able to pause and freeze frame some of these people when they're going by and identify them. It's not really that important to me to identify the riders as they're going around, except for whoever would have been the front runners and the leaders. There's a bike in there, number 114, which I think might have been Buddy Perriott. I know he used that number for many, many years. This race was apparently, let's see if I can find it on my list, number 91. It says 1957 on my catalog. So this was shot just before I got into it and started coming up to Willow Springs. Rider number 2 there. I believe I came out very early 58 and started running that Vincent twin up at Willow Springs, if memory serves me correctly. I don't have any idea where any of those old records are or who might have them, so I guess we just have to rely on memory. But this is pretty good color. I'm surprised that the film held its color for all these years. Just standard 16mm Kodachrome, I guess. I think Clyde Earle shot the footage. Now there's some pretty good action coming around the corner. There's number 2. And that looks like an old Norton. Number 73, 169, 88, 23. That'd have been Bill Lewis. 96 is Marty Dickerson for sure on that Vincent Gray Flash. 14. Now that's a Norton, so I don't know whether that was Bud Perriott or somebody else, because Perriott did not buy his Norton until about 61, I guess, after he blew his Triumph racing against you and Halewood and those guys when Halewood was over. I think the next race he showed up and he had that brand new Manx. So any help you can give me on identifying some of these riders, what we'll do is dub the proper information onto the master, and then once we get it on the master, number 51, Alan Krupa used that number for a while, so it's possible that might have been him. 122, I have no idea, or 169, or 55, or 88. And 92 looked like a Triumph there. I don't know. Like I said, a bigger screen, you might be able to freeze frame that stuff and get a better idea of what it is. They're going by pretty quick. And I'm watching on a little 13-inch monitor, which is all I have when I make the tapes. So it's not particularly great for flushing out minute details. Clyde was very conservative when he used to shoot film at these races, and he didn't shoot an awful lot of footage. I guess maybe he couldn't afford it. He'd take one roll or two rolls of 16mm out with him, small rolls. He had one of these little hand wind Bolexes, and I don't know how many feet they held at a time, maybe a 100-foot roll or 50-foot rolls or something. And I guess he did the best he could with what he had. He spent an awful lot of his money on booze and broads. And when you spend a lot of money on booze and broads, you don't have an awful lot left over for everything else. That guy looks familiar. You know, wouldn't even be a bad idea if we could identify these pit puppies over here. Also, any information you might have about the racetrack would be good. It looks like it was a fun place. Location would be interesting if we could pinpoint it exactly where it was from, like downtown San Diego or something. It looks kind of strange because it looks like there's lightweights going by, and then it looked like there's big bikes going by. So I don't know if they ran separate races or if they ran everybody together. Hopefully you'll remember that too. Probably when you see the trophy lineup of the guys standing there getting trophies, you may I remember you used number 5, so that might have been you right there. I don't know, or it might have been somebody had it before you or shared with you. Anyway, after the checkered flag, we'll see the winners lined up with their helmets off, and I'll mention to you the ones that I can identify already, and also the ones I cannot identify, and hopefully you'll be able to. Looks like they had a pretty fair turnout of people for that little race, you know. It was in his infancy in those days. But of course the starter's name would be nice too if we could identify him. Okay, I know who that guy is with a crew cut, do you? Now, who's the guy that's waving the arms? And this guy, I don't have a clue. Rode for Guy Urquhart, so he'll have his helmet off in a second. If you can identify him, I'd appreciate it, because I don't know the fellow. And the guy in the beard there, look at the back of his jacket. It looks like it says something about some kind of Junior Chamber of Commerce or something, so he may have been one of the people that represented the city or something for the race. And I need to know this guy's name. And the yellow t-shirt's Don Hawley, I got that. And our as yet unidentified Urquhart rider. The guy in a white t-shirt with a straw hat, I don't know. Black leathers is McLaughlin. Grinning Sonny over there, I know him. And I'd like to identify that guy with the straw hat, if you know who he was. Yeah, you don't look much different today, do you? That's John Duquette, I think, and then the Mexican kid that was standing next to him, I don't know. This guy also with the sunglasses, I don't know. Looks like he picked up a trophy. And this Mexican kid picked up a trophy, and I don't know who he is either. So hopefully you can identify him, and also the old fellow with the black cap and the black jacket. And that looks to me like Al Krupa, but I'm not sure. It might be somebody else. And McLaughlin again. His face really fills up the screen, doesn't it? That is it.